Today we are going to listen, contemplate and meditate for immediate self-realization on the 388th shloka of VivekaChudamani. Who am I? What am I? Who are you? What are you? What is this phenomenal universe of names and forms? What is the ultimate reality of this universe? Is there anything which one could term as supreme reality or essence of everyone and everything? Yes, in AdvaitaVedanta, that supreme reality is ever present in every being, every jiva, as their essence, innermost existence, as their Atman. And that one non-dual pure consciousness is verily called God or Brahman or Paramatman or Atman, and by various names. But the truth is one, the reality supreme is one, non-dual, infinitude of that self-shining, self-revealing, self-existing pure consciousness alone is the ultimate truth of AdvaitaVedanta. So let's take up this verse, 388th verse of VivekaChudamani. Swayam Brahma, Swayam Vishnu, Swayam Indra, Swayam Shiva. Swayam Vishwam Idam Sarvam, Swasmat Anyana Kinchana, Swasmat Anyana Kinchana, Swasmat Anyana Kinchana. Let's first take the simple English rendition, translation of this radical verse. Jagat Guru says to his disciple, he is instructing his disciple in VivekaChudamani and elaborating on the Mahavakya that thou art, you are that supreme reality, and in that process he tells the disciple, the seeker, the mumukshu, the seeker of truth, that Swayam Brahma, Swayam Vishnu, Swayam Indra, Swayam Shiva. O disciple, you are verily Brahma, the creator of the universe. You are verily the sustainer of the universe, Vishnu. You alone appear as Indra, the god of the gods, the king of the gods. And you alone appear also as Parameshwara, the Shiva, the destroyer of the universe. O disciple, there is none and there is nothing in the phenomenal universe that you perceive and experience that is other than you, the self. Here, when the teacher is addressing the student, he is saying, you are the Atman, Swayam Brahma. He is not telling the student that you as body or mind or intellect or the aggregate of body, mind, senses are Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, Indra and the entire universe. Impossible. This will be the greatest stupidity. So what he is saying, Swayam means here Atman of every jiva, Atman of everything, Atman, that is the self, the innermost reality of everything in the universe. And that is always of the nature of pure consciousness, knowledge, absolute awareness alone is called Atman, Paramatman, Brahman, loosely speaking, God, in AdvaitaVedanta. So he is saying that supreme self, that supreme reality which appears sometimes in some role as Brahma, the creator, the sustainer Vishnu, and the destroyer Shiva, and the king of the gods Indra, you, the Atman alone appear. Atman, that is pure consciousness. The self of yours is self of all. The self of yours alone appears as Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, Indra, and all the entire phenomenal universe you are perceiving at the moment. There is nothing other than you, the self, the Atman. Mind the word. You means here, he is addressing to the essence of the disciple, the seeker. The Atman of the disciple and the Atman of the teacher is one and the same. Nay, the Atman of Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, all gods and goddesses, all the jivas and Shiva, everyone, everything is one and the same. That is of the nature of pure consciousness, absolute awareness, infinite intelligence. I am using different phrases or terms to make it clear for you. They are different words, but the one reality, the pure consciousness, Shuddha Bodha Swarupa, Sambhita Swarupa, is verily called Brahman, the supreme reality, which is the substance, substratum of the entire phenomenal universe in the world. So AdiShankara says to his disciple in VivekaChudamani, O disciple, your Atman alone appears as the gods and goddesses of the creatrix, the creator god Brahma, the sustainer god Vishnu, the destroyer god Maheshwara, the Shiva, and Indra, the ruling god of the heaven. They are not different from you. They are different from you only in names and forms. If you consider yourself as the body, mind, intellect and senses, then they are definitely different from you. They are separate from you. They are outside you. But from the prism of Atman, through the prism of pure consciousness, if you look upon this entire universe and the history and the future and eternity, there is one reality, there is only one supreme truth, and that is of the nature of pure consciousness, absolute awareness, infinite intelligence. I am using these different words only for Atman, that is Paramatman, that is Brahman, that alone is supreme reality of AdvaitaVedanta. That is the supreme conclusion of all Upanishads and Vedic literature. Listen carefully, O disciple. Sink these deeper truths in every pore of your body. Imbibe this supreme truth that you are not the body that was born and you will die at some point of time. You are that infinite, immortal, omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent, pure consciousness that is Brahman. And the entire phenomenal universe that appears to you something outside you, other than you, is nothing separate from you. It's one with you. It is an appearance. It is an appearance. The entire universe at the moment, and the entire universe you may perceive as in the history, in the legends and in the Puranas and the scriptures, you might read the stories of Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, Indra. At any point of time and all climb anything and everything that ever existed and that is in existence and that would be ever in existence is nothing but manifestation of pure consciousness, your own Atman. The Atman is one and the same. The Atman alone is the substratum of the entire universe. Oh dear disciple, know for sure that all the duality belongs only to the bodies. The one who is the eternal indweller in all the bodies is Atman, and that Atman is one and the same. There is duality in the body, but not in the reality within each and every body of the phenomenal universe. You were never born. That which was born is this aggregate of 5 basic elements called Sharira, the body. Sharira in Vedic literature, in Sanskrit, definitionally means perishable. In Vedanta philosophy, Sharira doesn't necessarily mean this body which has 2 hands or 4 or 2 legs, eyes, the senses. No. Sharira in Vedantic philosophy, Vedic literature means anything and everything that is perishable. And the body of yours and the body of the entire universe and the bodies of each jiva are all perishable, mortal, ephemeral appearances on the substratum of pure consciousness. Pure consciousness doesn't arise, pure consciousness doesn't set. That is, to put differently, the Atman, the self, doesn't arise and doesn't set. The Atman is never born, the Atman never dies. The Atman is one and the same, ever, everywhere. There is no mutation, there is no change, there is no decay in the Atman that is right now, right here, ever present in every one of you as your own Atman. Pure consciousness means consciousness or the knowledge that is free from the triad of knower, knowing and knowable. That knowledge which is divided in the triad of knower, knowing and knowable is impure, and that is being experienced in the state of ignorance right now, right here, for everybody. But that is not reality. That is what has created all the ignorance, nescience and illusion, and their effect, sorrows and sufferings, the infinite chain of birth and death, the cycle of birth and death, and this phenomenal universe. All this is function of the ignorance about our true nature. My true nature is not this body. This aggregate of blood, flesh and bones is not me. No, neither this body is mine, nor am I this body. I am that supreme light of pure consciousness, ever shining, self-shining. Mind the word self-shining, self-illuminating, self-effulgent reality. That is Atman, that is the self. Everything else in the universe, every light I am referring to, every light starting from sun, moon, galaxies, stars, electricity, fire, all these lights are dependent on some other light. They are not self-luminous, they are not self-existing, they are not self-effulgent. But the light of pure consciousness inhering in the hearts of every living being is that supreme self-effulgent, self-luminous, self-shining self. Self-shining self, that is pure consciousness. Pure consciousness essentially never becomes in reality impure, but coming in association with the upadhi, the limiting adjunct of mind, body and senses, that pure consciousness, that is Brahman, the Paramatman, due to ignorance looks as if it has become finite. It appears as it is subject to birth and death, sorrows and sufferings, miserable decay, death. The body was born, the body will die, the body is subject to death and disease and suffering. But the body here includes gross body and subtle body both. But the seer within, the light of consciousness within the body is never born, is never attached to the functions, properties and states of the bodies. The body is ill, the body is sick, the body is miserable, the body is suffering, the body is feeling pinch of all sorrows, sufferings, deprivations. But the light of Atman, the light of consciousness within the body never ever gets affected either by the sorrows or sufferings of that jiva, the body, or the elation, the happiness, the joyous moments, nothing. It's Sakshi Chaitanya, witnessing consciousness. It never ever gets affected by the moods and the states of the mind or the states of the body, whether sick or healthy, because it ever remains unattached to everything. That is what makes it omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent, eternal reality and Brahman and Paramatman. Verily that same reality is called, which is right now, right here, enabling this speaker to express these words and enabling that same pure consciousness, the pure consciousness within this speaker and the pure consciousness within the listeners is one and the same. Not like me, not like you is mine consciousness, not like mine is your consciousness. The consciousness is one and the same as in the case of pitcher, jug, clay pitcher, clay jug, clay pot. The space in the clay pitcher, the space in clay cup, the space within clay pot, the space within clay tumbler, or the storage of grains made of clay, all these appear in transactional relative world as separate from one another, but look from the prism of substratum, the truth constituting all of them. That truth is what? What are these clay equipments made of? All of them are invariably made of clay and clay and clay alone. Therefore, the reality of the clay pitcher, clay pot, clay jug, clay glass, clay cup, clay lamp is nothing but clay and clay and clay alone. Even so, but the space within the pitcher, the cup, the jug, and all the equipments made of clay, it appears the akasha, the space, the ether within each of the vessels appears to be separate from one another. But tell me, was space divided ever? And is it possible for pitcher or cup or glass of clay to actually divide the space? No. The containers are separate, and they are separate because of separate names and forms, but the essence they are made of, the substratum, all of them are made of is clay. And second thing, the space within all of them, though it appears to be divided, the ghatakash, mathakash, the space within the pitcher, the space within the cup, once the limiting adjuncts called upadhis are broken, the space was never confined to cup or tumbler or jug. It was never. Even so, the pure consciousness infinite, which is the source, substance and substratum of the entire phenomenal universe, never gets divided as the Atman of the animal kingdom or the Atman of a squirrel. The Atman of a squirrel is not separate from the Atman of a mosquito. The Atman of a mosquito, the Atman, the self, the consciousness I am referring to. Remember the words. Atman means pure consciousness, and that verily in its reality is called Brahman, Paramatman, the essence and the supreme reality, the Bhagavan. But that pure consciousness is essentially one and non-dual, and only because of ignorance we think that the essence or the Atman of a mosquito, an ant, a squirrel, a bird, a tiger, an elephant, a human being, a good human being, a bad human being, a man or woman, a king or a subject. None, no distinction, no differentiation. These are all appearances. The body of mine, the body of yours, and the body of the sun and the moon and the stars and the galaxies, the rivers and deep oceans and mighty mountains, they are all mere appearances in my pure consciousness. Upon my pure consciousness, they have no separate independent existence of their own. That is what AdiShankara is declaring to disciple. Oh disciple, oh Shishya, oh dear one. The difference, the distinction, the duality, the separateness is illusory, born out of the equipments of mind, body and senses. Once you dissolve this prism of body, mind and senses and replace it with the prism of consciousness, that is the prism of the Atman, then you would see the revolution of all revolutions, that there is nothing outside the pure consciousness that I am, and that one non-dual pure consciousness, that is my Atman, that is Atman of Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, Indra, all the gods and goddesses and demons too. Remember it, this is for illustration only, but it is not that you are as Atman, as pure consciousness, appearing only as Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh and Indra, who are very adorable, glorified Godheads. No, anything and everything that ever appeared and that is in appearance at the moment and that would ever appear would be appearance of your appearance within your own consciousness. The substratum will remain same, the appearances will come and go. The Kali Yuga at the moment and the previous yugas, Dwapara, Treta, Satyuga, all arose upon me, in me, through me. Who is this me? Pure consciousness. That is you, I, you, essentially speaking, through the prism of pure consciousness, all the time and climb arises and sets in, upon and through this pure consciousness. But this pure consciousness never arises, never sets. It's the self-luminous, self-shining, self-existing sovereign reality, the sole sovereign reality. That is why it's called absolute knowledge, absolute existence, and the bliss and blessedness that is experienced in it, in its true nature, is also absolute unconditioned. The love, bliss and beauty, once you abide and inhere in the pure consciousness, is unfathomable by the human intellect, unbelievable. To illustrate it further, that when AdiShankara declares that, O disciple, the Swayam Brahma, Swayam Vishnu, Swayam Indra, Swayam Shiva, Swayam Vishwam Idam Sarvam Swasmat Anyana Kinchana. There is nothing, no one separate from Swayam, that is Atman, that is pure consciousness, the absolute awareness, the absolute knowledge. This self of yours and mine right now here is the witnessing consciousness, the perceiver of every single perception. Right now, right here, realize the Godhead within you and without you. Everywhere the same one pure consciousness that is called Brahman. The pure consciousness is verily called Brahman, the supreme reality, the Paramatman, the Bhagavan in Vedantic philosophy, and broadly speaking in entire Vedic literature, that supreme reality, Shuddha Bodha Swarupoham. I am always of the nature of Shuddha Bodha, pure consciousness is my nature, and that I am. Shuddha Bodha Swarupoham Kevaloham Sada Shiva. I am only Shiva of the nature of Shuddha Bodha, pure consciousness. There are thousands and thousands of radical slokas spread across Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Sutra, and all the Prakarana Grantha, and even in the Upanishads. So, the Atman is ever free. You are seeking freedom, moksha, mukti. You are seeking love, bliss and beauty. You are seeking prosperity, abundance. You are seeking praise, pleasure. It's all because of ignorance about your true nature. You don't know your essence, your Atman. That is why you are suffering always from a sense of deprivation, sense of fear, a lurking sense of danger, of fear of losing this body, losing the loved ones and dear ones, losing my wealth, my body, my intellect. Because of this false identity of your Atman, this body was never in existence. The body is even at this moment not in existence. It is a mere appearance, as in the case of the state of dream. Just like the dream states, you alone are there lying on your bed, and in the half-waking mind, the mind alone, the dreaming mind projects the dream world. Then you perceive elephants, tigers, mountains, big cities, trains, planes. How does everything appear in a nanosecond as the objective universe there? None whatsoever exists. Only the pure consciousness there, giving the light to mind and intellect, and then mind projecting the light. The same light, the light of mind. The pure consciousness is self-luminous, self-existing light, but that light of pure consciousness lends its light to mind. In other words, the mind and intellect borrow the light of pure consciousness. In the dream state, there is no light of electricity, neither moonlight, neither sunlight, neither electricity light. There is no lamp in the room. You are sleeping on your bed, and yet you see vividly, clearly a dream world. Very clearly you see elephants, tigers, mountains, rivers, oceans, big cities and towns and metros you perceive within your dream. How does it come? How does it become possible? Do you ever realize, and have you ever felt suspicious that no, it is not real, oh, I am dreaming? No, you become suspicious only you begin to break free from that dream. Once you begin to awake from that dream, then you realize it was a dream, it was not real. But the entire dream world that was projected by not a single light, the material light that you knew of, Not even your own senses were available there. But everything happens in the dream. You are running, you are walking, you are fighting, you are talking, you are teaching, you are enjoying, you are loving, you are hating. Anything and everything happens in the dream world. How does it happen? The one pure consciousness which is ever present in the hearts, that is in the mind of every jiva, that lends its light, not as an agent, but its nature. When the fire burns, the fire doesn't burn with the intention to burn somebody or something. It's nature. So even so, the pure consciousness is ever actionless, ever free from all experiences, and yet without the presence of pure consciousness, no experience is possible, no perception, no cognition, no emotion, no feeling, nothing can be experienced in our life. Because that pure consciousness, the Atman, is light of all lights and self-shining. Remember this term. All the lights you see in the world are material lights. The light of the sun and the moon and the stars and galaxies and fire and electricity, these are material lights. They don't exist either during the dream or during the deep sleep. Neither during dream state nor during profound sleep, any of these material lights enable or help either your sound sleep state or illumine your half waking state called dream state. But there, even that is the greatest mystery, and unless and until that is solved, you won't be able to understand that metaphysics of Vedanta. The light, self-luminous, self-shining, mind you, at this moment, in this room, I am perceiving this almirah or bed or fridge. It is being enabled by the light of electricity, and also then the light of eyes are also here revealing this form. The table is being revealed in the light of electricity, and the light of electricity is being revealed by the light of my eyes, and the light of my eyes are being revealed, that is illumined. All these material lights are all dependent, they are not absolute. The only absolute sovereign self-luminous light is the light of Atman, and that is supreme reality I am trying to point out. So the light of electricity is illumining the objects in this room, and the light in my eye is again revealing the objects in the room and revealing the light of electricity too. Then the next is the light of the mind. Mano Prakash is right now, right here, revealing the light of the eye and senses, and this light too. This electricity and the light of the senses, even if they are perfectly available, but the light of mind, if disappears, what happens? Think it deeply. You will crack the puzzle of Brahmajnana. Nothing would exist. Mind in the profound sleep state, everything is there, but your mind is sleeping. Are they going to reveal anything to you? No. I sleep here in Rishikesh Hardwar. Many times it happens, studying or contemplating, light is on, everything, I fall asleep. Do these lights illumine the light? And if it is profound sleep, which is testified by the fact that of the absence of all experiences, and that is denoted and testified and called as the absence of mind. The absence of mind is there, and all the physical lights are available, but nothing would enter. But even during that profound sleep, the deep sleep, you, the light of Atman, the light of pure consciousness, are ever shining, ever luminous, self-luminous. The Atma Prakasha, Chaitanya Prakasha, the light of pure consciousness, the light of self has nothing to do with any other light, because all the material lights and objects and the phenomenal universe in the world are mere appearances upon the supreme reality of the nature of pure consciousness, that is light of pure consciousness. The entire world is mere appearance. The entire world of names, forms, objects is essentially non-existent. It is mere modification of pure consciousness. Pure consciousness modifies through mind, body, intellect and senses, and the mind, body, senses modify the same pure consciousness as this entire objective phenomenal universe. That is what AdiShankara said. Swayam Brahma, Swayam Vishnu, Swayam Indra, Swayam Shiva, Swayam Vishwam Idam Sarvam. The entire phenomenal universe. Now, this is the puzzle. It's not easy. He is saying that the entire phenomenal universe that you see, you perceive, you experience at this moment or whenever you do, is nothing but your own manifestation, your own projection. The entire world is essentially non-existent in ultimate reality. It is not so difficult to imagine, okay, I was Brahma, or I am Shiva, or I am Indra. These are mere words if you have not experienced. But you hit the hard rock when you begin to think that the Guru, the teacher is saying that entire phenomenal universe you have ever experienced and you are experiencing. Your house, your friends and enemies, your near and dear ones, your country, your village, your city, your town, this entire everyday, entire universe you are experiencing, and he is saying they are really non-existent. You alone appear as all the universe that you think and feel that it is outside you, it is separate from you. It is you and you alone. You as Atman remove the prism of the body, mind, intellect and replace the prism of pure consciousness, the prism of Atman, that is Swayam, he is saying, Swayam Brahma. Look through the prism of pure consciousness, the entire universe dissolves within seconds into nothingness. But that nothingness, I am saying, in the beginning, in the state of ignorance, the so-called absence of the phenomenal universe is not really nothingness. That nothingness and that nothing is essentially everything, because that nothing where there is no experience of any phenomenal objective universe, but the experiencer is there, the perceiver is there, the perceiver minus object of perception, the seer minus object of seeing, experiencer minus the object of experiencing is supreme reality, the Atman. And when I say that look through the prism of Atman or pure consciousness, then nothing remains. That is what happens in Nirvikalpa Samadhi. When you dissolve your mind and mental modifications, your mind is still, your senses have become inactive, dysfunctional, as if as dead. Then you see that the entire phenomenal universe that was appearing to me as separate from me, now through the prism of pure consciousness, through the prism of Atman, I alone am the supreme reality, because I am self-shining, self-existing, Sacchidananda. Swayambhu Astitva, I am self-existing. My consciousness never sets or disappears. Everything takes birth and dies but me. Other than my I-ness, I, ever shining I, nobody in the universe has ever experienced the death of their I. That same self-luminous, self-revealing, self-shining, self-existing I. That is Atman, that is Paramatman, and that is in its pristine, pure nature, ever free from all the duality and triads. In my pure I, there is not distinction and triad of seer, seeing and seen. I, in my pure nature, always am shining, ever shining as I. That's why even in the deep sleep, I am present to testify in the morning, and I testify every day in the morning that this part of my time or this part of my sleep was so profound that I experienced complete absence of any experience. I experienced, so experiencer. The experiencer must be there who testifies to the fact that I experienced nothing. I experienced nothing. Who did experience this? That is Atman. That is not the mind. Mind is completely absent in the profound sleep. That the Western science also accepts it. But beyond the mind and intellect, the one who is light of the mind and intellect, and who is light of the light, Jyotishamapi tat jyotihi tamasah paramuchyate. Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita about that light, the light of Atman, the light of pure consciousness. And I am saying that look through the prism of Atman, the pure consciousness, the entire universe is nothing but Brahman, Sacchidananda, eternal existence, pure consciousness, ever blissful. How come? In the state of profound meditation, that is called Nirvikalpa Samadhi, when there is complete stillness of your mind, everything else has disappeared, no objective experience, but the self-shining, self-luminous, self-existing, self-revealing light of Atman is ever shining. Nobody in the universe can prove that at any point of time this I was absent. My I can never ever become absent, because I alone is the source, substance and substratum of the universe. the entire phenomenal universe and all the Sati Yuga, Kali Yuga, Dwapar Treta, eons and cycles of the world, birth and death, they all appear upon me and they play and exist for a while, they disappear, but I remain the same Atman, ever blessedness, ever joyfulness, self-fulfilled, self-satisfied, always soaked in unconditional love, oozing all love and bliss and beauty that ordinary ignorant humans seek in the external phenomenal universe are essentially mine. They are sole property of my Atman. Every single joy or sensual pleasure you experience is through the borrowed light of I myself, the Atman. I lend light to everyone and everything and every experience. Without my light, the light of Atman, no world can exist, no world does exist, no experience is possible, no perception is possible, no emotions are possible, because I am the substratum of every single experience. Just feel yourself. Remove for a while, try to remove the consciousness within you. That is Sakshi Chaitanya, that is Atman. Can you ever think of, even for a nanosecond, any experience or experience of existence of anything without presence of consciousness? Think it about. And that pure consciousness is ever shining as I, aham vritti. Every single jiva essentially is experiencing that Supreme Paramatman and Brahman, but due to ignorance they are unaware. There is not a single being who doesn't know the ultimate reality, because that reality is ever shining, and that alone is a self-shining, self-luminous reality, and that shines always as I, मैं, aham. There is, starting from a small insect or mosquito or squirrel, jackal, tiger, elephant, human, demons, gods, there is no exception to this. The I is ever shining in every jiva, and that I is nothing but that Supreme Reality. The pure consciousness is manifesting as I, but in the ignorance of ours, we think that I is confined to this body-mind complex, and this I, when is shining, somebody says, who is this? Then I say, मैं, aham, I. Then you think that this individuality is being indicated. No, this is due to ignorance. The ever shining I is ever present, sovereign, self-sustaining, self-born, as the Vedas call, self-born, Swayambhu. Even when the entire universe was not in existence, I was in existence. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. When the entire universe was in seed form and there was no existence of the phenomenal universe, the self-shining, self-luminous, self-revealing light of pure consciousness, that is called Purusha, that is called Atman, that alone is called Paramatman, that exists. Because if I didn't exist before the creation, who did witness, who did illumine the creation of the world? Where was Brahma? And how did Brahma know and create without the light of pure consciousness? That light of pure consciousness as Atman, and I am seeing now through the prism of pure consciousness, through the prism of Atman, that I am never broken or limited or conditioned either by time or space or causality. All time, space and causality are mere appearances in me. I am reality of eternity. I am eternity of eternity. I am infinity of the infinite space or the world or the universe, you say. Even when this universe was not, I was, and even when this universe will dissolve to nothingness, I would be there, present as self-shining light, Swayambhu Prakash, Swayambhu Satya Sacchidananda. I never rise, I never set. I am always present. I am only reality, and nothing outside me has real existence. This is the clinching point. The world that appears outside me, separate from me, different from me, is mere appearance due to illusion. As in the case of dream, the dream world is mere projection of my mind. The dream world of the dreamer is indifferent from the dreamer. Even so, in this waking state, the so-called real waking state, the phenomenal universe, the objective universe I am experiencing, I am perceiving, is indifferent from me, not separate from me. I alone am appearing as this entire name and form in the entire universe. The only reality is pure consciousness. The entire universe is essentially of the nature of pragyana, jnana. I will conclude with one shloka, and that is not found in the Upanishads. There are hundreds of Upanishads suggesting to the same, but I am going to reveal one of the most radical Advaitic sutras from Vishnu Puran. In Vishnu Puran, it's revealed the same truth as to the falsity of the objective world of names and forms. He is saying, and I will conclude with that, he is saying that this entire world is nothing but of the essentially of the nature of pure consciousness. So he says, Jnanas, it's a Vishnu Purana. Vishnu Purana is not Vedanta. Vishnu Purana is called one of the great devotional scripture for Bhakti Margis. And even here you find that supreme truth revealed. Says, and Jagat Guru AdiShankara quotes this in the Shvetashvatar Sambandha Bhashya. And this shloka is like this, most radical. Jnana Swarupamatyantam Kevalam Paramarthataha Tadevartha Swarupeda Bhranti Darshanatah Sthitim. Many of your doubts will get immediately dispelled. It needs larger, elaborate description, but I will simply translate it and then you will be amazed what is being revealed. He is saying that Jnana Swarupam Atyantam Kevalam Paramarthataha. In reality, there is nothing in existence other than Jnana, the knowledge absolute, that is pure consciousness, absolute awareness, the infinite intelligence. I am using different words for this, indicating the same. Other than the pure consciousness, Jnana Swarupam Atyantam Kevalam Paramarthataha. In ultimate reality, Paramarthataha means in ultimate reality there is nothing exists. Nothing exists other than Jnana, that pure consciousness. And that pure consciousness, Kevalam, that is non-dual. The non-dual pure consciousness alone is reality. That pure consciousness alone is called Sat Chit Ananda. That pure consciousness alone is Sata, eternal and immutable existence. The Sat is of the nature of pure consciousness, and the second part, Tadevartha Swarupena Bhranti Darshanata Sthitam. It's more radical even than many of the Upanishadic declarations. He says in Vishnu Puran that the objects, Tadevartham, arth means objective, the objects of the senses, Vishaya, arth means Vishaya. So he is referring to the entire objective universe that you are experiencing through your senses are nothing but projections, manifestations, modifications of Tadeva. Tadeva artha, that same pure consciousness is appearing due to illusion, due to nescience, due to ignorance. Bhrantihi darshanatah sthitam. Due to ignorance, it seems, it appears as this there is a separate, different world of objects, thoughts, perceptions outside me, separate from me. It's only because of ignorance. There is no world of objects, thoughts, emotions, perceptions outside me. They all appear in me, upon me, through me, and that me is of the nature of pure consciousness, the Atman. So essentially every object in the entire phenomenal universe is nothing but an appearance in, upon and through pure consciousness, and therefore pure consciousness alone, and that pure consciousness is called Brahman. So Brahman, Paramatman, the Atman alone is appearing as the separate objective universe and the objects of the universe. So what is the nature of that Paramatman? I stated earlier, it's I. Swayam Brahma, Swayam Vishnu. So I alone, and I am of the nature of pure consciousness, absolute awareness, knowledge, absolute intelligence, infinite I am. And this infinitude of mine is intrinsic, natural to me. Nothing in the universe is eternal but me. For I am self-shining, self-existing reality, and I, in my true nature, Pragyana Swarupaha, Jnana Swarupam Atyantam Kevalam Paramarthataha, Vishnu Puran. Tadevartha Swarupena. The consciousness, the Brahman alone is appearing as the various objects of the phenomenal universe, and due to ignorance it appears as, oh, this is sun, this is moon, these are the stars, this is ocean, this is mountain, they are tree, this is animal kingdom, this is table, chair, this is wife, this is husband, there are children, there are parents. It's all nothing but manifestation of the Lord himself, the Brahman, the Vishnu. The Vishnu alone is appearing as the entire universe, the Godhead, supreme Godhead of Hindu pantheon, Vaishnava pantheon. So he is not only present in the heads and hearts as the Atman Jiva, but outside also. Anything and everything that we are experiencing, anyone is experiencing, is nothing essentially except of the nature of Pragyana Swarupam, Pragyana, Prakishta Jnana. That pure consciousness alone is appearing. In other words, Brahman, the Paramatman, the Atman, which is one non-dual reality, never divisible. That same Lord, the Vishnu, the Supreme Godhead, is appearing in everything, as everything, but essentially he, H, capital, he, indicating here attributeless Brahman, though it is in the Vishnu Puran, but AdiShankara quotes it in Samandha Bhashya of Shvatashvatar Upanishad to illustrate the point that the entire universe is essentially of the nature of pragyana, jnana, that is pure consciousness, and there is no division in pure consciousness, there is no duality in Atman, and that pure consciousness alone is my Atman, your Atman, and Atman of one and all. And cutting across time and climb, I was ever existent, I alone am in existence everywhere, in this world and the worlds beyond. So as pure consciousness, when you look through the prism of pure consciousness, nothing exists but pure consciousness alone. The essence of everything is pure consciousness. I'll give one example. When you look in the mirror, right now here when I am recording in this mobile, so I can see my face, my moving hands, but tell me in this mobile, is there anything other than this mobile? So this mirror you see, and in the mirror you appear as being present in the mirror, but are you really in the mirror? You are not. What is their reality? The mirror, and the mirror alone. The mirror is outside, mirror is this side, that side, from all the sides, and in every inch of that figure that it appears that the figure, my image has replaced that part of the mirror. Even then there is nothing, no figure of mine can enter in the mirror. Even so, this pure consciousness, Atman, is the only reality. There is no space, no possibility of any other existence. I am always of the nature of pure consciousness, and as pure consciousness, as Atman, I alone appear as Brahma, as Vishnu, as Mahesh, as Indra, as anything and everything, because there is nothing outside me, there is none other than me. I alone appear as everyone, as everything. And that is the reality of yours, that is the reality of mine. You alone appear as everyone, everything. There is nothing outside you. Just shift your method of perception from looking from the prism of body senses to prism of Atman, Atma Drishti, that Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita says, Vimudhananu pashyanti jnana chakshusha. That is what exactly he is referring to. Only jnana chakshu, that is jnana chakshu, the eye of pure consciousness. I am saying prism, but replace so many words you can say, through the prism of pure consciousness, through the eye of pure consciousness, through the intellect of pure consciousness. If you look upon the entire universe, there is only one reality, and that reality of the nature of pure consciousness, and that alone is called Brahman. So Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya Jivo Brahmaiva na Paraha. Free from Brahman, free from pure consciousness, nothing and no one has existence of its own. Everything that you see in the universe is essentially Brahman. Independent of Brahman, there is nothing, there is no one, neither time nor space. Therefore, contemplate and think profoundly, imbibe this truth, this profound truth, that I alone appear as Brahma, I alone appear as Vishnu, I alone appear as Indra and Mahesha, and thereby logical extension, I alone as Atman appear as everyone and everything. Therefore I am all of all, I am all in all, I am all by all myself. Nothing can touch me. I am sovereign existence and I am self-luminous, self-shining reality. Once you realize this, you are free from all the sorrows, sufferings, death and birth. That is called Param Purushartha. That is called Moksha, immediate liberation, immediate enlightenment. Realization of this truth is called enlightenment, Nirvana, Moksha. You become free from all ignorance and sorrows and sufferings. That is why it's called Param Purushartha, supreme accomplishment of every human being. May that supreme accomplishment, the Param Purushartha, be upon all of you and you realize your true nature. Chidananda Rupaha Shivoham Shivoham Chidananda Rupaha Shivoham Shivoham Chidananda Rupaha Shivoham Shivoham